So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we go about taking data from your app or a video and transferring it to your sheet so that you can analyze your workout. You can also score yourself and make the appropriate and strategic adjustments to the workout so that we ensure continuous progression. This can either be done on a workout by workout basis, where after each workout you transfer it, you analyze, and you make an adjustment, and so you remember the adjustments that you want to implement for the next workout. Or you could do this every month, right, where you take the data that you've tracked from an entire month's workout, and then you put all of the data and you transfer it into your sheet and do, let's say, like a monthly analysis. You can also do that. This is also very useful that if you don't have the time to do any of this, this is where 10x Coach becomes extremely helpful in doing this for you. So remember to keep that in mind, that either you will do this yourself, I highly recommend it, it's really fun, or you'll have a coach who will do this for you. But definitely do not leave all this data on the table unanalyzed, because this is exactly what we need to look at to make our to make the appropriate adjustments. So let's get started. So remember, we can make adjustments in one of three ways: intensity, exercises, or routines. What does that mean? So either we're going to make an adjustment in terms of the on an exercise to exercise basis from workout to workout. We can also make what we call exercise changes to our workout. So still the same exercise order, but the type of exercise we may change. Instead of doing a pull-up, we would do a lat pull-down. Instead of doing, let's say, a push-up, we could do, let's say, a chest dip, and so forth. And you would make these changes, let's say, once a month at most. And then the third change that we could make is in terms of adding more routines or subtracting routines or volume from your actual program. And again, we will only do this every 3 months. The thing that you will do on a workout to workout or weekly basis is what we call intensity adjustments. So let's take a look at the 2 ways that you can adjust the intensity workout by workout. Okay, so as I mentioned, these are called intensity adjustments, where we can either increase or decrease the load or the difficulty of the exercise in proportion to the degree to which we deviate from the practice range from 10 to 14 reps. In other words, we will make one of 2 changes. If the load was too heavy in today's workout, for example, 9 reps or below, then we need to, let's say, decrease the load or weight, or make the exercise a bit easier, so we can always stay within our target range of 10 to 14 reps. Likewise, if we're getting stronger and stronger, let's say we did an exercise for 10 reps, and now as we get stronger, we do 11 the next week, and 12 in the next workout, and 13 in the next workout. Eventually we get to 14, right? So when we get to 14 reps for 2 workouts in a row at least, then we can actually increase the load. We can make the load more difficult, or we could change the exercise to make it a bit more challenging. And so I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So the first one I'm going to show you an example of is what we call exercise progression, or using the 2 for 2 rule. Now, the 2 for 2 rule states that for every exercise that you do 2 repetitions above your target of 12 reps, which is 14 reps or more, for 2 workouts in a row, hence 2 for 2, then you're allowed to go up in weight. Okay? So when do you go up in weight? When you do 2 reps minimum above your 12 rep target for 2 workouts in a row. Let me quickly show you how that is going to work. So let me quickly show you an example of how you would transfer data from a tracked workout, let's say the 6x Alpha 1 routine performed at the gym, to your actual spreadsheet. Okay, so on the left-hand column, you first start off with your date. So let's say it was a Monday. That's where you put in the name, Monday. The date was, let's say, 26 March. Just making this up, but that you can imagine. This is where you put your body weight. Okay, 71 for that day. You don't change any of these variables here. Okay, so let's say my workout time was 11 minutes and Okay. Okay, so let's say I did, okay, so now notice the exercises here. These are generic names, because remember, 10x is always a squat, a pull, and a push, a squat, a pull, and a push. Or you could alternate, squat, pull, push, and then it could be a hinge, a row, and a press, but it's still a pulling movement and it's still a pressing movement there. Okay, so the load I selected, let's say, was 150 kgs. Now again, where would you get this data from? Now you take your phone, you open up your app, and you look at the information. I'm actually doing this right now. So I did 150 kgs. Now here's what's interesting. This column here is showing you what's the total number of reps that you did unbroken. So this stands for unbroken reps, total unbroken or consecutive reps. So let's say I'm going to show you. So in one go, I did 14 reps. And what was the total on that? It was also 14, right? Because I already made 12. So I did 14 reps total. And there you go. This gives me my time and attention. The way this is calculated is with 5 seconds times by the total reps, giving us 70 seconds of time and attention. The volume is 2,100 kgs. How is this calculated? Well, if you look, the volume is calculated 150 kgs times 14 reps, giving me 2,100 kgs of volume for that one exercise. Excellent. Let's do the next exercise, right? But remember, unbroken just means that if I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but it's important that you understand the differences here. Okay, so the next I did a lat pull down. I did 70 kgs. And then I did 12 reps unbroken and also 12 reps in total, which means I didn't do more reps because, again, if I get 12 in one go, I don't have to do more reps, right? 12 is minimum per set. Remember that. My volume there is 840 kgs. This is actually the perfect set. The next one was the pushing movement. I did a chest press. Okay, so actually I would put in the numbers here, leg press. So I put in exactly what I did for that day. So I did a pull down. Pull down. Here I did a chest press. And I did 13. No, wait, I didn't do chest press. My apologies. I did a chest dip. And that's body weight. So if it's body weight, you select just your body weight there. That's why you put your body weight at the top, because also how else do we know your power to weight ratio if we don't know your body weight, right? So then I did, for chest dip, I did 13 reps. Also, I did that in one go, and therefore I only did total 13 reps. Gives me volume of 923 kgs, because again, 71 times 13 total reps gives me 900, okay? For squat, I did exactly the same. So I'll just copy and paste this here. And I did 150 again, so the same. Okay, so this is always, you can actually, this equals that because it's always going to be the same. I did this time, this is a good example. So you see, I did 8 reps and then I failed. Of course, because remember, I did 14 reps here already. So I'm already quite tired for my first set, my first circuit. Now the second circuit, I did only 8. And remember, we always want a minimum of 12 for every set. So I rested for 15 seconds and then I did 4 more. I did 4 more, but 12 in total. Do you see the difference between 8 and 12 was 4? So I did 4 more. You can also add a note exactly and say, for example, you could say 8 and then I did 4. Okay, and then that gives me 12, right? You could do that if you want to be precise. And then 1,800 kgs, right? This is my volume for that exercise. It's 150 times 12 again. And there you can see I did, I did 14 in one go, so, and only 12 here. So it's going to be less. Okay, and then for my row, I did a cable row. So I write down cable row here. Excellent. So now that's 70. Okay, for cable row, I did 60 kgs. And notice I did 10 reps there. I just made my target. Let's say I just made the practice range of 10 to 14, which is awesome. I don't have to actually lower the weight in the next one. Then I did 2 more. I actually rested for 10 seconds, did 2 more, and then I got 12 in total, giving me volume of 720 kgs, because 60 times 12 is 720. That's the volume for that exercise. For my last exercise, I did a shoulder press. I did 30 kgs, and then I did 11 again. I literally had to, I did 11, rested for about 15 seconds, and did 1 more rep, exactly giving me 12 in total, and giving me a volume of 360. Now notice here, quickly a couple of points. My total volume was 6,743. Okay, my total time and attention was 6 minutes. Now this is such an important point to realize, which is the total amount of time that my muscles were under tension and working. 6 minutes only. It's crazy, right? The total number of reps in this exercise was 75. The total number of unbroken reps was 68. Okay, so there's a 7 rep difference there. And then the Total number of exercise always is 6, so you don't change that. Now, the total time was 11 minutes, so technically 10 minutes and 30 seconds. This will be calculated. This is your total rest time. How do we know that? We take your total time under tension of roughly 5 seconds, giving us 6 minutes. Your 11 minus 4.5 gives us your rest period, right? 11 minus 6 gives us our rest period. Here's something else that I like to track, which is rating of perceived performance. And essentially, this is where it's a subjective marker where you're gauging the number of times where you actually give up in a workout. And it should never be more than 2 times. In fact, you want to have it 0. But when you do a workout, you kind of just give up and you did it, right? No one else can see it, but you know that in that moment you could have pushed more, and so you did it. And so you can give yourself a score here. And again, what's quite cool is that in the sheet, you'll see notes everywhere that will explain all the different nuances of each little parameter or variable that we track here. Okay, so go ahead and read through that, and this is how you give yourself a score. So if you gave up more than twice, that's deficient. If you gave up only once, it's strong. And again, if you didn't give up at all, then it gives you a high score. So give yourself a score there. I know I didn't give up in this at all. I went all out. So I would give myself a score of 0. And then 0 is good. Okay, now workout quality, very, very important variable to understand. Workout quality is basically the average intensity per repetition. I'm going to repeat that. Work quality is the average intensity per repetition, and this is how it's calculated. You take the total number of reps that you did for that workout, 75, and then you divide that by your volume. So if you divide the total amount of work you did by the total number of reps that you did, we call this rep volume. If this is load volume, this is rep volume, and we divide your load volume with your total number of reps, giving us your rep volume, or a workout quality of 90. The higher the workout quality, the higher the intensity, obviously, right? Because the intensity, the average intensity per repetition is really, really high. Okay, so anything below 50, then you are training to that you are training with loads that aren't precise. Okay. Precise being you should always fail between 10 and 14 reps. You also see a big discrepancy between the workout quality and work volume between a home workout and a gym workout, and we'll show you that in a second. Okay, so your power it's simply you divide the total amount of time by the volume, or I should say the volume by the total amount of time. So you take the total amount of volume divided by 11 minutes, that gives you your total power. Now you divide your power by your weight. So if we then divide your power by your body weight, that gives us the all-important power to weight ratio score. Okay, so that's how you would basically insert your data there. Now I just want to double check to make sure that I am correct. So it was seated leg press at 14, I did 8 there, so it's 12 in total, 12 there, 13, and then I did 12 seated row, and then I did 12 shoulder press. Here it was 11 minutes, and that's it. So now I know my score, let's say, is 8.6 watts per kilo. Okay, that's exactly how you insert your data from the app using the gym workout experience. But now remember, what's the point of this? We want to see where we need to make an adjustment, right? So I can already tell you from here that let's assume that I got 14 reps on 150 kgs for 2 workouts in a row. Technically, I actually did, right? So this is my first workout, as you can see here, and then this is my second workout. Now I'm allowed to go to 160. So check this. So now I'll actually go to 160. 160 will be my new squat weight. And that's the only exercise that I will increase weight in. Why? 12. No, I can only go weight when I need 2 more reps here before I can go up in weight. I need 1 more rep here for 2 workouts in a row to go up in weight. I need 2 reps here for 2 workouts in a row in order to go up in weight for that exercise. I need, let's say, I'm very close here. Well, it's 11. I'm actually not as close. So I need 3 reps two workouts in a row in order to go up in my shoulder press, in order to go up to 35. Okay, so that's how you do the 2 for 2, apply the 2 for 2 rule after you have transferred your data to the sheet. So next I'm going to show you how we make another intensity adjustment, but in terms of exercise correction. So let's say an exercise was too heavy in our load, then it's time to drop the weight. So let me quickly show you how we go about doing that, but also I'm going to use this opportunity to show you how we would go about, let's say, transferring data from a workout video done from home. So let's take a look at how we go about doing that. So correction is what we call the 3 for 2 rule. This means that if you're 3 reps below the target rep count of 12 for 2 workouts in a row, then you need to drop the weight. So let me repeat that. Let's say, for example, and this is actually a good example here. So you notice that, actually no, this is not a good example. Actually, yes, it is. So look at the shoulder press, right? If you look at this image right here, shoulder press, there's an 8. So that would be a good example of that's 3 or more reps below the target weight of 12. Okay, so it has to be 9 or less, 3 reps from 12. For 2 workouts in a row, we need to drop the weight. Okay, so you can actually see for my shoulder press, 40 is too heavy. I actually need to drop that weight there. So let me go show you how we do that in the sheet from a video recorded at home, transferring it to the sheet. So let's quickly take a look at what we would call intensity correction. This is where we would decrease the weight if we did only 9 reps or less in a row. And so for the next workout, we need to drop the load, make it a little bit easier. Now, you'll mostly be doing what we call intensity corrections in the beginning of your training. After a while, you'll actually get all your exercises will be in your sweet spot between 10 and 14. You'll mostly only then do exercise progressions rather than corrections. So you'll seldom do corrections once you have established the sweet spot weight and load for your exercises, except of course when you're replacing exercises, learning new exercises or substituting exercises, then you may have the same problem. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at how we'd go about doing that. So now in this example, I'm showing you a video recorded workout. So imagine you did a workout at home and you video recorded it. You would also still track it on the app, but you would have it video recorded. And then after your workout, you would come to your sheet like I'm here now, and you would watch the actual workout and you'd count all your reps. So let me show you an example of one exercise and how to do that. I'm not going to be doing it for the entire workout. I don't want to bore you to death. So I'm going to use the actual exercise, the inverted row, where I only got 7 reps or less, I think. And that would be a good example of where I would need to actually adjust the intensity there. So let's quickly take a look at how we would do that. So you take your phone, if you video recorded your workout, and then just watch the video. Watch the video. I'm going to now play the video where I'm doing inverted row. Now you have to focus and actually count. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, 6. Up. 6.5. So do I count that or not? So, okay. 6.5, 7. So let's pretend, let's just say I got 6, for example. Then I would basically go here. Now, this is interesting. Like, how do you score yourself? What load do you give yourself? This is very important to understand. The reason I'm showing you this video, I'm just going to show you how you score yourself with home exercises, because at the gym, it's easy. It's just the exact load you use on the machine. Let me show you how you score yourself with all of these exercises. Let's do the row first, and then I'll show you the rest of the exercises. Okay, so here we have the inverted row, and the actual score is going to be, okay, a row would be, let me just look here, straight row. Okay, my score for this workout is going to be 3/4 of your body weight, 0.75, because some of my weight's on the floor, so it's not like a pull-up where I'm completely on the complete body weight exercise there. So I'd get a score of 53. I would do 6 reps in a row, and then of course I would have to do the other 6, and then I get a volume of 320. So that's how I would do that. Now notice that I am like 6 reps below my target of 12, right? So I definitely need to adjust my row. Okay, I'm going to show you, go to the top here. The 12 there, didn't do 12 in total. Okay, so let me show you here at the top how we would go about doing this. So this is my entire video recordings results in one table here. So let me show you how we go about scoring ourselves. Okay, first things first, the way you would do, so because I did a wall ball squat, so you put in what you actually did. So it was a wall ball squat. I did a pull-up. I did a push-up. I did a straight leg deadlift. And inverted row, yes, and then I did a dumbbell press. Okay, now notice here, this is how you would score yourself. Hover over the actual exercise, and then you would see here. If you do a body weight squat, it's exactly half your weight, right? So if I do a body weight squat and my weight is 70, I get a score of 35, okay? But if I did body weight squat with dumbbells, it's going to be half my body weight plus the dumbbells. So for example, I did 220 kg dumbbells, so it's 40 kgs. So I take my body weight, right? So if you look at the scoring here, it's my half my body weight times plus 40. So let me do that so you can actually see the equation. Okay, so I take my body weight, times it by 50%, and I add 40 kgs. So I get a score of 76 for my squat. That's my load. Okay, I did 14 reps as you can watch in the video, and that gives me a volume of 1,000. Okay, same with a pull-up. Pull-up, I get exactly my body weight. So if I did pull-up without assistance, that's just my body weight there. For push-up, again, if you want to know what your score should be, for example, if you do a red band, black band, purple band, a green band, this is how you would select that. So for example, so let's say I did a pull-up on the black band, I would have to minus my, I would take my body weight and minus 15 kgs, 15. There you go. Then I get a score of 56 because I did a pull-up on my black band. So my score there is 56, okay? But it's not. It's exactly my weight. So there you go. For push-up, so where you score your push-up, if you did a push-up strict like I did, it's half your body weight, right? So it's going to be 35 kgs there. If, for example, you do push-ups on the rings, that's going to be 3/4 of your weight. That's a score. Again, remember the score, how you give yourself a score in terms of load of body weight, it's quite arbitrary. I mean, how exactly do we know what the amount of load will be? But this is a way that it doesn't matter, as long as we continuously stick with the same scoring number, we will still witness and observe relative progress, right? So 36 there, and then for deadlift, I did 220 kgs for straight leg deadlift, so I get just a clean 40 kg there. Inverted row, let's see what score I'm going to get here. So the inverted row, I get standing, elevated, I just got a straight row, so it's going to be 3/4 of my body weight. Okay, 3/4 of my body weight. I get a score of 53 for my load. And then for dumbbell press, I used 220 kgs, but as you can see, I went way too heavy. Notice that I could only do 5 reps in a row. So the reason I'm showing you this workout, an example, is because of the following. Look here. Because I did... So I was 6 reps under my 12 rep target there, and I was actually 7 reps under my rep target there. I definitely have to drop the weight. In fact, I'm so far from my target, I'll actually go to I'll go to 30 kgs for my next dumbbell press, right? So next time I'm going to go to, so this is how I would basically do this. So also notice something here. The workout, let's say the workout time was the same, 11. Just want to show you that even though I went to failure, these are my real numbers, right? Notice that my volume is 4,000. So compared to my gym workout, it's way lower because the workout quality is way lower. So you did 65 reps, okay, but look at the volume was a lot lower per exercise, okay? So my work quality is going to drop, and so the intensity is not the same thing. That's why if you did a 10x workout in the gym versus 10x workout in at home, two very different experiences. But again, I would say a 10x workout done properly at home is still better than most workouts done even at the gym. So still a very, very potent experience and stimulus. Okay, so again, you put in the date here, just your body weight, you put in your total workout time. This is how you would give yourself a score. And then this is your load. Again, how is your load calculated? I did total number 14 reps in a row. Now notice here, again, I did 5 reps in one go, but then I actually had to break it up. If you actually look at my workout results, let's quickly take a look. I'll put it up on the screen, but I did 5 reps and then 2, then 2, then 2, right? So 5, 7, 9, 11. Actually, yeah, I did not put in. That's actually miscalculated. I remember doing 5, 3, 2, 2. Either way, you guys get the point because I had to break it up so many times. Either way, it's way too heavy. So for my next workout, I'm going to do this. So I'm basically going to copy and paste these loads here, okay? Because then I know I'm going to have to go on 30 kg, so 2 dumbbells there. And for my inverted row, I'm actually going to do let's say, a table row, which is with my feet flat. That's only going to be half my body weight. So that half my body weight, 0.5. And these will be my weights for the next workout. And so now the next time you do this workout, that's how you make that adjustment. Okay. So I want to make sure I've mentioned everything here. Again, power to weight ratio a lot lower. Again, quickly, what are the most important variables here? So you've got your body weight, 71, total workout time there. You've got your total time and attention, which is calculated based on the total load times the reps. The 5-second tempo times the number of reps gives us a time on attention, right? And then our volume is calculated based on the load and the total amount of reps we did. We calculated based on total reps, not unbroken reps. So it gives me 1,000. We have our total volume here of 4,000. Our rest time, which is basically taking your total time, divide by, subtract from 7, the total time and attention. Again, total time and attention of work was 7 minutes, incredible. And then gives us a resting time it's calculated. You don't actually have to count your rest time. And then this gives us a power. If we calculate the volume divided by time, gives us 370, and divide your body weight by the power, and you get a power to weight ratio of 5.2. So that's how we would go about doing what we call an intensity correction. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how we go about making exercise adjustments. So when do we change exercises? So there are 2 main reasons why you would change an exercise in terms of your routine, and they are called optimist variety, meaning if you're doing 2 workouts per week, in your second workout you could actually mix things up a bit. So instead of doing a lat pull down in workout 1, you could do a pull up in workout 2. Likewise, instead of doing a chest press in workout 1, in workout 2 you can do dip. To have some variety in your second workout. This only applies if you're doing 2 workouts per week. If you're only doing 1 workout, if you're doing 1 workout per week, you're not making changes to your exercises. You're going to keep it exactly the same. Okay. Another reason why we would change what we call plateau variety. Plateau variety is when you do identical number of reps for the same exercise, 4 identical routines in a row. So for example, if you did 4 workouts in a row, almost exactly the same, and you can see there's 1 or 2 or more exercises, you're just not improving at all, you can actually change one exercise, alternate one exercise for let's say another 4 workouts a month, and then come back to see if you've made improvement or not. Let me show you an example of how we would go about doing that. Okay, so for example, optimist variety means that you're going to change an exercise or substitute an exercise if you're doing 2 workouts per week only. If you're doing one workout per week, you're not changing exercises. You're not changing exercise to exercise, because then you can't compare, let's say, workout done on one day, let's say a Monday, to next Monday. If you keep changing exercises, we're not comparing apples to apples at that point, right? So if you're doing workout once a week, it's the same exercises. Only if you're doing 2 workouts per week of the same exercise. So let's say you're doing a gym workout on Monday and a gym workout on Thursday. This is when this applies. So for example, then you would do, let's say you do a leg press, pull down, chest press, leg press again, seated row, and a shoulder press for your gym workout on Monday. Let's say this is Monday's workout. You can then feel free that every Thursday's workout, instead of a lat pull down, you're doing a pull up. Instead of a chest press, you're doing a chest dip. And again, if you make a change to your second workout of the week, you keep it that way, so that you can compare Monday's workout with Monday's workout. You can compare last week Thursday's workout with this week's Thursday's workout. So that's when you would, let's say, alternate exercises or change exercise for some variety. Okay, the second reason we would alternate or substitute one exercise for another is what we call plateau variety. This is if you don't see progress in a particular exercise, all things being equal, for 4 workouts in a row, then consider making a change. But again, whenever you make a change in an exercise with 10x, it's always going to be a change in terms of a muscle group specific exercise. So you're not going to change, for example, a pull-up for a deadlift, or a chest press for, let's say, a lat pull down. It always has to target the exact same muscle group. Okay, so I'm going to be clear on that. Whenever you change an exercise, it has to target the same muscle group. Okay, so let me give you an example of what plateau variety would look like. So here's an example of what we call plateau variety. This is when you can change an exercise when you've hit a plateau in that specific exercise for 4 workouts in a row. Let me show you. So let's say for pull down, you've got 12 repetitions, workout 1, and then again in workout 2, you've got the same, workout 3, you've got the same, and workout 4, again, you're just not making any headway on that exercise. Then for your next exercise, feel free to change your pull down to, let's say, a pull-up exercise. And that would be what we call plateau variety. Last but not least, routine adjustments. This is where we make an adjustment in terms of volume. Remember, you're going to be in one of 2 programs, 10x Minimus, 1 workout per week, and 1 alpha, specifically 1 alpha workout per week. 10x Optimus is where you do 2 alpha workouts per week, and you either have opted to do a beta routine as an optional routine from the beginning or not. Either way, you will only make a volume adjustment every 3 months. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of adjustments, volume-based adjustments that you could make. So first of all, the first adjustment that we can make is what we call resistance volume. This is where you can go from a home workout to a gym workout, but not necessarily a gym workout to a home workout. If you have been doing gym routines going to a home workout, you would actually have lower work quality. So this only works if you go from a home routine to a gym routine. So a massive improvement, or if you want to see, if you feel like you're hitting a plateau at home, the first change you want to make is not more routines, but actually is going to go from a home routine to a gym routine, because the work quality is so high. Again, what is work quality? Work quality is defined as the average intensity per repetition that you do. So again, I discussed the work quality in earlier in this video, so make sure that you understand that concept, because that's why you would want to go from a home routine to a gym routine, only if you hit a plateau. The second way is what we call muscle group volume. This is where you're going to add more volume to your workout because you want to target specific muscle groups like your gluteus maximus muscles, the buttocks, the biceps, triceps, calf muscles, lower back, abdominals, and so forth. And then the last but not least, what we call program volume. This is where you actually subtract an alpha routine. So you actually go from two alpha routines per week, and you're going only to 1 routine. And there's 2 reasons you would do this. If you feel like you're not making progress with your 2x alpha routines after 3 months, remember, this is based on what is known as the 1-for-3 rule. The 1-for-3 rule states that you'll make 1 change in terms of routine every 3 months. Okay, so don't change routines every week. Stick to something for 3 months, and then after 3 months, you will make an adjustment in terms of going on a program where you train doing 1 alpha routine a week or 2 alpha routines per week. Now, why would you go from 2 alpha routines to 1 alpha routine? Well, the most common reason is that if you want to see, if you're not recovering in time between 2 workouts, and you know that because you're just not making changes, you're not progressing in any of the exercises or very little. And again, this is at minimum after 3 months. Okay, then you could change. You could actually do only 1 6x alpha routine to improve. Okay, so there's a concept called deloading. Deloading is when you actually you reduce the volume as a way to sort of give your body more time to recover between workouts, and thereby stimulating a compensatory adaptation in subsequent workouts. In fact, right now I'm only doing 1 workout per week. But if you're a beginner, stick to a twice a week protocol for at least 1 year. Okay, 100 workouts. You're doing two workouts per week. Okay, so let's say you have already trained at least 3 months and you'd like to add a routine, subtract a routine, make a change. I'm going to show you exactly how we go about doing that. And the way we do that is by looking at quarterly progression, right? So every 3 months, you want to compare let's say your very first baseline 10x workout, your first workout, and you want to see how you're improving, not necessarily month to month, but at least every 3 months. You want to see the difference between your power to weight ratio scores from your best workout as your baseline workout and your best workout after 3 months. So let's take a look at how we go about doing that. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at how you would compare your 10x workout, the very first workout, to your 3-month workout, right? So that would usually be your 24th or 25th workout is what you're going to use to compare. So every quarter you will compare your best 10x performance against each other. So for example, let's say your baseline score was 5.4 watts. How do we get this information? So let's say this equals, you go to your workout tab, and for example, let's say you got 5.4 here. So remember, this is our workout table, and let's say your very first workout, you got 5.4 watts. Okay, select enter, and again, this is going to give you a score, right? So this will give you a score from 0 to 3, either beginner to advanced. If you're between 5, if you are male, I'm a male, so if I got between 5 and 7.5, that makes me a novice, so I get a score of 1. So here, I give myself a score of 1. And again, my goal is then to go to the next level. I want to go to intermediate. So let's say 3 months later, it's May, and I go and look at my best performance after 3 months. I would then go and let's assume this was my 24th workout. I'm just showing you an example. Let's say that was 9.5. Actually, let's go all the way to the bottom because this is what it would really look like. Let's say your 24th workout will be here, 9.5. There you go. And okay, awesome. I've gone from 5.4 to 0.5, giving me a score of intermediate. So I'm at 2. And of course, now my goal is just to get to 3 and so on. Now, you won't necessarily you'll go up 1 level in 3 months easily, but to go up 2 levels will take roughly a year. So the difference between your 3rd, 6th, and 9 months, it's very different. You'll make rapid improvement in the first, what we call newbie gains in the first 3 months, and then your 6-month and 9-month mark, it's, you're now training at the margins, and so it's going to be a lot harder to progress, but you will get there. So let me show you then the difference between the 2 workouts, because you can see you've made a massive improvement in your power to weight ratio, but you want to see exactly how. So for example, here's how you did that. So the difference here is 3 minutes. You've gone from 13 minutes in your first workout, it's down to 10 minutes. Well done. Let's say you used to go on 120, now you're on 150, so it's a 30 kg difference. You started with 50 kg pull down, now you're on 70, so it's a 20 kg difference. You went from chest press of 36 kgs to, let's say, sorry, that's not right. Chest press would also be about 50, and this would definitely be yeah, so that would be correct. My apologies. I should have just shown you guys my actual sheet. Now, so here we have 50 and 70. Then another difference would be from 50 to 70. So that's a 20 kg difference. Leg press again, 30 kg difference, kind of the same as this one here. And then seated row, we went from 45 to 60, so 15 kg difference. And shoulder press, the first workout between your last workout, your 24th workout, you went from 20 to 30. And again, the smaller the muscle group, the less improvement you'll see, of course. And so that's why we see the biggest gain with the largest muscle group, the leg press, and the smallest improvement in terms of kg in your shoulder press, which is your shoulder muscles, the smallest of all these. And let's say a volume difference of 5,000 to 6,000, a volume difference of 1,500, and a power to weight ratio therefore of 3.9, a significant difference. So remember, you're only going to make a change in terms of volume or a routine. You can add a routine in terms of beta. You could also subtract an alpha routine. If you're on minimus, 1 routine per week, you can go to 2 routines per week. It's up to you. But you can only make 1 change every 3 months in terms of your program. And so, again, the first change you can make is what we call going from home to gym routine. So let's say you've been doing training at home for 3 months or even longer, and your training is becoming somewhat stale. Then the best change is not to actually add more routines, but to actually switch from a home routine to a gym routine, because the workout quality is just so high. So for example, remember, let me just show you the difference here. In my home routine, these are exactly my results. So let's say both routines were 10 minutes each. I'm still the same body weight. Look at the volume difference going to absolute failure. My volume that I can achieve with the home equivalent is only 4,000 kgs, and with the gym routine, it's going to be 6,700. So my workout quality is 52 in a home workout, and my work quality is nearly double that. It's so much higher. It's 90. Remember, work quality is defined as the average intensity per repetition, and so my power to weight ratio is so much higher, because look, my volume is higher, it's the same total workout time, giving me power is going to be 400 compared to 600. And so this is still the same me, right? This is me in the same week. And so this is not, there's no real time difference here. This is me in the same week. And it just shows you the difference in work quality when you switch from a home to a gym routine. So that's the first change I encourage you to make before you start adding many routines. Now, the exception is, so for example, you're training 2 workouts at home. The change you can make is you can add a beta routine on another day. And then if you're growing stale with your 6x alpha routines, it's not going to be because of your beta routine. It really may be like lack of recovery between 6x alpha routines, right? Because they're the same routine. So one thing you can do is then reduce the 6x alpha routines even at home to see if there's improvement. Otherwise, just go from home to a gym routine. Okay, the second biggest change you can make is go from optimus to minimus, only if you are training at the gym. So let's say you've been at the gym for a long time, you want to make a change, and so you could add more beta routines done at the gym as well. Otherwise, you can go from a twice a week at the gym to a once a week at the gym routine. And so this is going to give you more recovery time between workouts, and this may be the thing you need to, let's say, respawn more strength. And there you have it. That is how we take data from our tracked workouts, transfer it to the sheet, apply the appropriate scoring, do an analysis, look at where we need to make adjustments. Again, those adjustments that we made in the sheet can actually also be done on the fly in the app. You can track this, every month. You can take all your data and transfer it and do the analysis, or you can also do it on workout to workout basis. It's up to you. But just remember, it's very important to do some kind of analysis so that you can make the appropriate strategic decisions in how you make changes to your routines to ensure continuous progress and to avoid those plateaus. I'll see you in the next video.